Hey guys, in this video we're going to look at Rush defaulting long A on Dust2, so let's get started. So usually at the start of the round, Rush is going to throw the Xbox smoke for his team, especially when it's just going to be a default. And as the outside long player, there's a couple of different reasons why this makes sense. So the first reason why is because long A is usually an extremity, and extremity players are normally the ones who just get information or they just punish pushes from the CTs. There isn't one particular smoke that's going to make your job a lot easier lurking out of long A. The second reason why is that as this long A player, you're usually the last player to leave this particular area if your teammates are planning to do some kind of catwalk take or maybe some kind of mid-B split. It makes more sense for them to actually have the smokes on hand, the players that are part of the pack, because then it allows them the flexibility to be able to do takes right away. If you're this extremity player with long A and you have one of these crucial smokes, it doesn't really make much sense for them to have to wait for you to be able to do some kind of mid-B smoke or maybe some kind of catwalk brick smoke to be able to take it. And the third reason why is that if your team decides to come back towards this long A area and do a mid-round long A take, as the extremity player, you've already used your smoke, so naturally it makes sense for you to be the entry. This is very similar to the T-side A ramp player on Mirage, how he normally throws the top mid smoke. It's the same idea here. So here's another example. So Rush, once again, he's going to throw that Xbox smoke as his team is doing a default. And the next thing I want to talk about is the important role that you have as a long A player. As this long A player, you're normally going to have to count how many nades the CTs are using at long A because this tells you a lot about what their setup is going to be. If you see a lot of nades at long A, there's a good chance that the team is probably going to be doing some type of long A setup where a player is playing towards this pit area. If there aren't any nades at all, there's a good chance that they're probably doing some kind of catwalk setup, and you should really tell your lower B players and your mid players to be aware of some kind of catwalk aggression or some kind of setup. So that's why counting the nades at long A will tell you a lot about the CT's setup. So even here, for example, you're going to see that Rush, he notices two nades being used closely spaced together, a nade and a molotov, which highly suggests that there's probably two CTs playing towards this long A area. He also has three players towards his tunnel position, so what you can tell them is that, hey, this might be a good opportunity to pressure this B player a little bit because they're playing too long A right now. So if you decide not to use your smoke for Xbox at the start of the round, this is another option to throw the long A corner smoke. This doesn't require a full long A take, but here this is a good example of a way to kind of draw out utility from the CTs. And by drawing out utility, this is a way to kind of set yourself up later in the round to be able to do a mid-round long A take, because then the CTs won't have any nades to defend it. And here at this point, you're going to see that Rush, another thing that he likes to do is just jump spot this gap here. And this is a really good way to kind of get information without much risk of dying. So another thing you want to do when you default towards this position is you want to make it uncomfortable for the CT player. So right here we see that Rush, he's spamming, he's making noise, he's keeping this long A player at this position. And what this does is it actually opens up opportunities elsewhere on the map. So right here we see his teammates, they're taking towards catwalk, and because he's kept this long A player here, his teammates know that at most there's only going to be two people that they have to fight at this catwalk position. So you always want to keep track of where the CT player is at long A. So right here Rush, he throws a molotov. He hears a smoke extinguish that molotov, which suggests that the CT player is still at long A. Rush is already leaving long A, so now at this point you can tell his team, hey, this guy's still at long A, so if you want to take towards catwalk or if you want to do some kind of mid-B take, now would be the time because this player is still at long. And this right here is just a quick flash that you can throw to your teammates that are taking up catwalk so that we can still stay over towards this long A position. So as you may already know, taking long A with your best spawn is a very popular tactic. So right here we're going to see Poison, he's going to throw flashes for Rush to allow him to take this long A position. Notice that when Rush jumps out, he's trying to get out of this door's choke point. He's trying to cross over towards this blue bin area because what's going to happen here is that Poison is going to throw a late flash to allow Rush to be able to fight this corner angle. And with that flash, it allows him to take these fights. So if you plan to take long A, it's very important to know the spawns. So right here, these are the best spawns to take long A with. And it's also worth knowing the CT spawn. So this spawn right here is the best spawn to be able to fight long A with. Now if we look at the timing between the two spawns, if we look at the best CT spawn versus the best T spawn to long A, what you're going to realize is that the CT will always beat the T to this door's choke point. He will always be able to post up first. So you have to keep this in mind if you're a T coming towards this long A area. So because of this fact, Complexity will usually do a delayed long A take. And what you're going to see here is that Poison is going to throw a corner smoke. Then Config and Rush, they're actually just going to wait at this particular choke point here. They're going to wait for the first wave of nades from the CTs. There's the first nade. It prompts Poison to throw this flash. And off that flash, Rush and Config are going to take towards this long A area. And that allows them to be able to take this fight onto Bubzkji at pit. So here we can see those spawns in effect. So right here we're going to see that Device is the best spawn. So with this op, he has the confidence to know that he'll be able to post up on this angle first. Complexity, you're going to throw that corner smoke. And then if we look at Bubzkji, it's this transition point that Complexity are trying to capitalize on. So he throws that first nade. As he's transitioning closer towards this pit angle, you can see that's when the Complexity attack. So here we see another example. So first we're going to see that Poison is just going to pick towards mid, and then he's going to throw a long A corner smoke. Next we're going to see that Config, he already has a smoke out, and what they're actually waiting for is this first wave of utility from the CTs, and it's actually just going to be a molotov. So they're going to try to catch them at the transition point. Poison's going to throw the flash, Config's going to throw the smoke, and off of that both Rush and Config are going to push out through the doors, and that's what allows Rush to be able to get this kill onto Perfecto. So here we're going to look at Perfecto's point of view. So once again, he has the best spawn, and because of that, he knows that he can throw this molotov without being challenged right away. And what we're going to see here is that Navi, they actually anti-strat them just a little bit with these double nades because they know that Complexity like to do this. However, the timing still favors Complexity, and they're actually already out by the time the nades even come through. Perfecto's only able to get one kill, and that was a nade kill on Nobo. However, you can see that this is a very powerful tactic to use from Complexity because it's not reliant on timing, it's more reliant on their timing of when they want to go. Part of the reason why this tactic is so powerful is because it's so explosive. So right here, once again, we're going to see Poison's going to throw that corner smoke. Rush, he doesn't really notice that there's a molotov, so Poison's going to set up the flash. They throw the flash. And once again, as Rush comes through with that flash, he's able to catch Bubzkji as he's trying to cross towards that pit area. So from Bubzkji's point of view, you're going to be able to appreciate how quick this is. So right here, we're going to see that Complexity is going to throw a long A corner smoke. This doesn't necessarily mean anything. A lot of teams will throw this even if they're not taking long A. But after he throws that nade and he crosses towards his pit area, he's in direct contact with Rush already. And because of that, he's not ready for it, and that's why Rush wins this fight. So another great thing about this tactic is it allows you to be able to see what counters the CTs are putting out first. So right here we're going to see that Rush, he notices the molotov at blue bin, which also very likely means a smoke at the doors as well. And because of this, Rush is going to call for these flashes right away. The flashes come through, Rush is able to catch Bymas as he transitions towards pit, and this is exactly why this tactic works, is because he saw what counters they have and knew that the best time to strike would be right there, because if he had waited for that molotov and the smoke to also come through, it'd be too late for them to take long A. You're going to see that from the CT's point of view, because they reveal their counters first, it makes it very easy for Complexity to be able to time their push. So as Bymas is crossing over towards his pit area, that's exactly when it gets taken down. So here's an example of a mid-round long A take. So this is a smoke that blameF can throw from lower B that lands at the long corner. And off of that, we're going to see that Complexity is going to throw their flashes to be able to take this long A position. Afterwards, as Config and Rush clear towards this long A area, Poison's just going to post up behind the smoke, and that's how they're able to take long A here. So once you've made it past the door's choke point, you can throw the car molotov. And then as well, you always want to make sure you throw a flash over this building to allow your player to cross over towards pit. And then what we're going to see here is that Rush, as he comes back, he's going to get ready to throw a smoke with his teammate. And with the double cross smokes, you can be very sure that there aren't going to be any gaps in between the smokes because they're thrown in a very set way. So here we're going to see the smokes get deployed. Poison's going to throw a flash from behind as well as Rush. And this allows Rush and Ovo to be able to cross towards the A site without having to worry about any gaps in the smoke. Now the one thing to keep in mind is that if you throw the smokes in this very set way, you're giving a timing opportunity to the CTs. So right here we're going to see that after they throw those smokes, the CTs know exactly when to counter, and that's why they actually all end up dying here. If you look at this from Flamey's point of view, because of the way the smokes are thrown, he has time to be able to time his flash. He sees the smokes come through, he's able to anticipate how quickly the T's are going to be moving up, he throws a flash, and that's exactly how Perfecto is able to capitalize off of it. So something you may want to do from time to time is just throw these smokes on the run, and by throwing these smokes on the run, it doesn't give an opportunity for the CTs to be able to time their push, and because of that, you're already going to be crossing by the time the smokes pop, so it doesn't give them an opportunity to be able to do so. If you look at this from Bubzkji's point of view, you're going to see that because of the way the smokes pop, there's no opportunity for them to be able to time a counter. Another option is to simply just wait for the CTs to counter first. So right here we're going to see that Config, he has the op, he's going to post up from far, he's going to watch towards the A site. Rush, he's playing anti-flash as they slowly walk up towards the choke point. The flash comes through, Config gets the kill, and Ovo's able to get another kill into rain, and this is how they're able to cross over towards long A. So it's a much more reactive way to be able to do so. Okay guys, that's going to be it. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys liked what you saw, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell for more future content. Thanks again, I'll see you guys in the next one.